grew up in Nebraska. We spent almost all of our time in Colorado. And Fort Collins was really like a second home, and the Cashlabuta River was my favorite river to fish. And so Fort Collins was just a natural place to go. Plus it has an amazing fisheries, fish conservation biology program. And so it was an easy choice. My favorite professor was probably Chris Myrick, fish physiology. He was awesome. Very nerdy, scientific kind of stuff. A lot of fun. Great professor, great instructor, but also fished. So we connected well over that, and it was a lot of fun just being able to connect that kind of fish physiology component also to the outdoor space and outdoor recreation. But the practical application of actually being outside and doing the work was awesome. Being open to learning, being coachable. Probably the number one skill set that we look for is somebody that is really willing to learn and really willing to come in. Whether you've done it before or not, to me, isn't as big as, are you willing to learn it? Are you willing to be humble enough to take that coaching, take that mentoring, find somebody that's the expert, and really then be yourself, become the expert. I'd say my vision, our vision for the company is really, it's continue to grow, right? And so we really try to focus on the fly fishing industry for sure, fishing, conservation, and we want to be the fly fishing focused manufacturer business that specialty retail, the fly fishing industry can come to, not only for products, but also for leadership and quality and what we produce, leadership in conservation. So as we continue to grow, we'll continue to try to grow the current brands that we have. And then not just in fly fishing, but we're also a manufacturer. And so what's interesting is we also produce in Florida parts for nuclear imaging equipment. So our goal is really to, continue to grow as a company and fit in where we can. Primary focus definitely in fly fishing. But we have a lot of really skilled people. And so as a manufacturer, we also want to make sure that we're capitalizing on the equipment that we have and the talent that we have and leveraging that as much as we can. Pretty much every aspect of the business that we have is in some way focused on conservation. One of our sayings that we have is honor the water, which really means, if we're a fishing company and we're getting people out on the water, you have to have the water, right? You have to have public water, and you have to have quality water, and you have to have water that can sustain living creatures and fish. And so we need to be producing product and managing our business in a way that's going to honor that water and it's going to help sustain it. If we're not doing that, we're not doing the best that we can. And whether it's a give back program, so that we give back, we've now given over $300,000 in the last couple of years to Trout Unlimited through all those, and those are all through customer purchases. So that's a great example of a way that you can be a for-profit business and make money on a product, but also how we can use that to give back. And that's also include an educational campaign. So with every reel that we sell, there's a note in there from Trout Unlimited about greenback cutthroat trout and where they live and why they're important. So that's really critical. I think us having a recycling program, so we recycle all of our metals, we try to buy recycled metals, we try to buy raw materials from within a couple hundred miles of what we're doing. With Airflow, we created the first fly line recycling program with a company called TerraCycle, where you can recycle your used fly line, bring it into a fly shop, drop it into a bin, and we'll take it and recycle it. Candidly, that's not economically viable yet, recycling fly lines, so we pay for a lot of that, but we believe it's our responsibility that if we're producing the plastics that we're going to recycle them and turn them into something else. Probably drives some people nuts because I'm pretty fish focused, but being able to meld a passion for fly fishing with trying to have an understanding for business is, I think, really helped us build into the fly fishing industry. It creates an authenticity that's there, and one of our values is fish together. And we don't literally mean fish, right? We have lots of people here that don't fish. You don't have to fish. Even though we're a fishing company, we try to make sure we've got diversity of different talents and things you like to do. But that does mean that, if you're not going to fish, it still is that kind of honor the water, right? And making sure that we're still protecting resources and doing sustainability and bringing that into what we do. My advice, I guess, to students would be to know first of all, know what your passion is and what you want to work into. And if you're doing something that you love, it's going to make work less work. While that's true, it's possible to find your passion in just about anything that you're doing. Even within fisheries, one of the things that I loved was the kind of analytics behind it and the statistics and the science behind it. And so if we're doing operations and we're talking about demand forecasting and demand planning, really finding that, the similarities between population dynamics of, managing a fisheries is really similar to inventory management. I think appreciating where you are and making the best of where you are is also super critical. Making sure you're learning and being open to that and seeing where the path takes you. So my favorite species is and I get made fun of for a lot for this, but is carp. And it's because it's an invasive species, and so I don't love them for that, but I love it because it's actually a great conservation story, that if we can teach people to fish for the non-native species, it takes pressure off of the native species, and they're also just super fun to catch.